Here we go. I'm pretty sure you can hear me. Let me turn this down a little bit because it's a little loud. How are we doing today? Happy Wednesday hump day on the Morning Night Live. We got, there was a little, I saw something this morning that made me chuckle, but it also made me think a little bit. Because Representative Liz Cheney is about to have her primary next week for her congressional seat out in Wyoming. And things aren't looking good for Congresswoman Cheney. And I just can't figure out why. I mean, she's, long-time Republican. She has a big Republican pedigree with her family. Her dad's the former vice president. And, oh, wait! She's part of that committee. That wonderful committee. And so I decided I saw her, she tweeted something today that made me chuckle. And so I want to talk about her today. Also trending today on Twitter, as it is often lately, is gender ideology, which has been trending a lot. And I talk about it a lot because I think it's one of those things that is a danger to a country, to kids. It's dangerous. And it's creeping up, and we're gonna have, like I said, it's gonna cause a great mental health crisis in the future. So I wanted to see what about that was trending today. I know the few things, but it's one of my favorite subjects lately. And we'll just see what's happening in the news in general, like we usually do. So we'll just, it's just another day of the Morning Night Live. Just programming notes. There will be no show tomorrow, but I think I'm going to post a video at this time. Maybe same thing Friday this week. However, next week we'll have all 5 shows for sure, and I'll make up these 2 shows this week somehow. But anyway, let's get into today's show. And Johnny, how about you play the intro? Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, Dawg Knight. All right. Boomer remembers to turn the microphone back on. Hello. My name is Marty, and sometime today we'll get back on the screen. Hi, welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet, and welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel, where it is Wednesday, the 3rd of August, 2022, where pigs fly, but they might not get reelected. Okay, that wasn't wrong. Or that was wrong. Was that wrong? I don't know. Is that wrong? Is it wrong to call someone a pig? I don't think she's a pig though, but she does resemble Miss Piggy. If you did a human version of Miss Piggy, that would be shady. Oh my God. What am I doing here today? Anyway, I hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday. Mine is average to slightly above average, which is fine. I do have my cup of coffee, and I have a different cup today. That's what I do. I collect rocks, and I know things, except for I don't collect rocks. Just saying. Anyway, so I'm not super prepared today because I got home super late today, and so obviously we're starting at 9:15 after the hour. I should not 9:15, 10:15 if you're in the East, 9:15 if you're Midwest, and so on and so forth. 8:15 and whatever. They're probably not a whole lot of Californians watching the show because it's what is it, 7 in the morning, 7:20? I'm not people getting up to see me, but some of you might be still awake if you were partying last night. Anyway, last night was National Night Out, and we kind of forgot. And our neighborhood has, I don't know why our neighborhood has 2 National Night Out parties, but we were about to go walk our dog, and we got out of our driveway and we look up the street, and there's a whole bunch of people out in front of one of the houses, and we're like, oh my gosh, it's National Night Out. Maybe we should go put on better clothes and because we were looking kind of schlubby, so we went back in and put on some better clothes and hung out with our neighbors, which is really nice. Now, I was thinking about this though the other day when we were driving up in northern Minnesota. So, kind of the purpose of National Night Out when it first started. I think, did it start in the 90s? Something like that. National Night Out was kind of an event thought up. I don't know even who thought it up, but it was back in, like, I think the 90s, where there's a ton of gang violence and stuff. And there were some parents who were just finally like, oh man, we got to stop this mess. We got to, know our neighbors. We got to be able to take care of each other. We got to learn, to get along. Can't we all get along? We had to learn to get along. And so somebody came up with the idea of National Night Out, where, you could go out in your neighborhood and it'd be safe, and the bullets wouldn't be flying and shit. And people would get to know their neighbors. Now, I always thought of this as an event that, was promoted it was promoted by the White House, I think. I can't remember who started it. But anyway, I always thought of this, as a hood thing. You want to be, as a hood thing. You want to be able to go out in your neighborhood and be safe. But then it started happening in suburbs and little towns and whatever. And we were up in, there was some little town we went through. I mean, it was a town of like maybe 1,200 people that we drove through. There was a big old sign, National Night Out in this town. And then we saw it at another town that was like a town of like 400. They were having their National Night Out party. And I'm like, wow, it must be rough out here in the sticks. But anyway, we went up and hung out with our neighbors, had a beer and then some snacks, and then and came back home. But it was kind of, I'm just fascinated by this whole National Night Out thing. So anyway, let's get into the news. I got some news items, and then we're going to move into the main topics today. Main two topics. One is Liz Cheney, and the other is gender ideology, which is trending on Twitter today, which I was surprised. It's been doing a lot lately because it's becoming a real one of those contentious things that people talk about all the time. And you got to be very careful when you're talking about it on YouTube or Twitter, because people at YouTube and Twitter are very, very touchy about these subjects. And you say the wrong thing, or you accidentally, misgender somebody, yay, they'll yeet you. And I don't want to be yeeted, but sometimes it's hard not to, because, well, sometimes a man is a man. In fact, the title of the show today is Real Men, okay? And that real men, well, that has more to do with Liz Cheney than the gender ideology, but it fits, it fits the bill. We're going to talk about it. So anyway, let's say good morning to the troops who are in the chat. Yes, I did reset that. Did I do everything right here? I kind of did. Okay, we're looking good. Let me fix this though, make sure that works before I do that. Okay, that works. Good. All right. I don't think I forgot anything, and you guys can hear me, so that's a good thing. All right, let's do this. Let's say good morning, everybody. First, I'm going to scroll up here and see who was first today. First in the chat was our friend Maddie, and who gets the bell for being here first. Thank you for joining us today, Maddie, and I hope you're doing well. Oh, I never heard the results of your MRI. Did you? Maybe you put something in the chat today about it. You're having a good morning thus far. Good. Okay. Also, good morning, Rotten Corpse, Simon Wolfwood, Avocados Diablo, the Devil's Advocate, Jay Pylon's in the house, Tyler F., Mike Savage, Blarg, Tyre Alexander's here. Good morning, sir. Also, Renee Mayette, what's up? Kesley's in the house. Yo, to you too, sir. Attack Alpaca's in the house. Legit Low Talker is in the house. And also my favorite Canadian Jaeger pony, Johnny Hellcat, the original viewer of the Morning Night Live, is here. Eddie Haskell's in the house. Good morning also to Trippy Liberty. What's up, my friend? Jethro Hetero, the gayest person on YouTube. No. Jethro Hetero is not the gayest person on YouTube. The gayest person on YouTube is a certain single entity by himself. He's just the gayest person on YouTube. Also, good morning to Cindy Bishop. Welcome back, the Asian Research Directorate. And Tyler F. I'm saying again. And thank you also to Random American and Simon Wolfwood for Simon Wolfwood for retweeting the show. Do me a favor, everybody. Oh, Jimmy Das Hotep's in the house. Let's see Jimmy Das Hotep a week from tomorrow. Okay, do me a favor. This show is sponsored by you, the viewers of the Morning Night Live. If you are here, you like the show because you're here. So hit the like button, share the stream before, during, and after the stream. That's the number one thing you can do to help us out. Also, if you can, wait, how did it go from 27 to 19? Did this stream die? What happened here? Anyway, if share the stream before, during, and after the show. Put a comment in the comment section if you are watching on replay, and you can sponsor the show at pdognight.live during the show. If you want to get a prioritized chat read, you can drop a couple bucks in the tip jar and we'll read whatever you write. There's no restrictions. There's a very little restriction on the number of characters if you do it here. If you want to do YouTube super chat, you can do that too. And then there's a couple other options down below. If you're watching offline or off the live, whatever that means. Anyway, Man Squatch is the house also. Good morning, sir. All right. All right, I wanted to just touch on a few things here first before we got started. Just noticing, and I'm not even going to put these in the, the links today, because this is just things I've noticed. I wanted to take a look at some of the things trending on different platforms this morning. So, for example, Mitch the Ripper, thank you. Man Squash, thank you for sharing the show. So, the things that are trending on Twitter are not always the same thing trending or featured on some of these other platforms. And I am on several other platforms, even though I don't go on them a lot, but I go on enough to them to kind of get a feel for what's going on in those platforms. So if you're looking for me, see here it says at Dawg Knight, I'm at Dawg Knight on Twitter, Minds, Gab, Parler, CloudHub, and what's the other one? Getter, Parler, Getter, CloudHub, and Minds. Oh, I said all of them, didn't I? Anyway, so, and occasionally I check out those platforms, and some people are on several platforms too. I'm still not on Truth Social though. My name's reserved, and I just never opened it. But I think I might have to open Truth Social if that guy with the funny hair actually starts to run again, because although what's hilarious, so they kicked the guy with the funny hair off Twitter, our former president, who I voted for the second time. And what's interesting, you don't really need to follow him on Truth Social to find out what he's saying, because so many people post what he puts on Truth Social onto Twitter. So it's almost like he doesn't even need a Twitter account. It's kind of funny. But anyway, I'm not on that yet, and I haven't. I'm not sure why. I just haven't, but I should probably do that. But on these other platforms, sometimes you get a little bit different feel for things. So on, for example, on Minds today, Tim Pool, who's on several other platforms, one of his Timcast links are on here where he says Carrie Lake declares victory, media outrage, Democrats' insane strategy backfiring as Trump GOP wins. So, and it's a video that you can link to, but he, so Carrie Lake in Arizona, I was watching the primaries from Arizona last night. Carrie Lake is a avid, super Trump supporter, right? And she's running against some other lady, and I can't remember the names exactly. But what a lot of the Democrats have been doing is they have been putting a ton of money, and we talked about this the other day. We've been putting a lot of money into a lot of the MAGA candidates, the ones that they think are the nuttiest candidates. They've been pushing the candidates that Donald Trump has been pushing because they think they can defeat all these, Trump supporting candidates, right? And so, and Carrie Lake's one of these candidates. They were criticizing her the other day because she came out to a rally and it was very rock star-ish, where she came out and cheering and she's waving and whatever. But she was losing the whole night, and I'm watching that. And then I get up this morning, and it looks like she ended up winning by like a percentage point. Now, obviously, there'll be some recounts. I don't know if Arizona also does runoff on primaries, because no one got 50%, but she ended up winning the primary as of this morning. Now, we can find out if she we'll find out eventually if she actually did win. But she was winning as of this morning, and I was shocked because Yeah, that's it. Karen Taylor Robson. Yeah. And who's the kind of the establishment candidate. Hello, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
So anyway, that was wild. And Rick Ashbringer's in the house. Good morning, Rick. And I think that's everybody. So anyway, that's what's on. And if you scroll through, here it is. As of this morning, 14 minutes ago, updated, which is actually 2 hours ago. Carrie Lake, almost 2 percentage points. And it looks like that might be the final count. So she came from behind very, in a very, how would you say it, Biden-esque manner. Anyway, on Cloud Hub this morning, Biden approval rating. Papa Hotep has something here. Papa Hotep drops in every once in a while. Biden approval rating still high among black voters. I don't know why. There was me by a bitch. I was from it a couple days ago. There's not a. They don't. Okay, where's the? What's trending today? Truth is trending. MAGA, Trump, truth. Trump won. Biden, Trump trains. FJB, faith, not freedom. Truth, Trump. I think Cloud Hub is very Trump centric, but I don't follow a lot of people on Cloud Hub. I don't pay attention to Cloud Hub that much. On Getter, the main article is on the right here, where they get the Getter news. Trump-backed John Gibbs defeat incumbent Meyer in Michigan primary. Now that's another big one. So John Gibbs is a man of melanated enhancement, and he was the Trump-backed candidate in the. I think what district is that? Let's just open this one. We'll read this article. Let's see. Come on, baby, you can do it. You can do it. Let's go, computer. John Gibbs, a Trump-endorsed political newcomer, defeated incumbent Peter Meyer for Michigan's redrawn 3rd congressional district, according to the AP. Let's see. We'll do the Axios. Let's check the Axios article here. Oh, come on. Stop it. I don't want this crap on my screen. All right. So, Gibbs is the latest pro-Trump candidate to oust one of the former president's few remaining critics. Meyer, a freshman congressman who replaced John Amish, was one of the 10 Republicans who voted to impeach Trump in the aftermath of the January 6th Capitol attack. He acknowledged that it may have been political suicide. Why it matters, Gibbs' victory signals Republican voters' continued allegiance to the former president. Black software engineer who worked on housing issues for the former president's staff under HUD Secretary Ben Carson. Gibbs received Trump's backing earlier this year. Gibbs an election to. Okay, this is Axios. So listen to this. This is amazing. This is amazing when you read some of these outlets that clearly have an agenda. Listen to this sentence. Gibbs is an election denier who falsely called the results mathematically impossible, even though there is no evidence of widespread fraud. There's so much to pick apart in that sentence. It's amazing. But anyway, I'm not going to do it now. It's a waste of my time. Between the lines, Gibbs, who publicly floated a number of outlandish right-wing conspiracy theories, brings potential general election liability for the more competitive district that hasn't seen a Democratic representation since 1976. What? Wait, what did they say? Brings potential election liability for the more competitive district that hasn't seen. Okay. The West Michigan primary was one of several in which Democrats meddled on behalf of far-right candidates, believing Gibbs to be a more beatable opponent in November, prompting an outcry. So the new congressional map made the district significantly more competitive, and Hillary Scholten, the Democratic challenger, lost to Meyer by just 6 points in 2020. Well, and so I think it's hilarious though they show their ass with that sentence alone. Gibbs is an election denier who has falsely called the results mathematically impossible, even though there's no evidence of widespread fraud. Okay, do you need evidence of widespread fraud? Or do you just need evidence of pinpoint accuracy fraud? I don't know. Who needs widespread fraud when you can narrow it down? I'm not saying that happened. I'm just saying it's a stupid sentence. That is just a stupid sentence. clowns. Yes, gayest person on YouTube. They are clowns. They are absolutely clowns. Good morning, Damian Gershwin. What's up? Okay. Here, let's check the Trump endorsement. They have a Trump endorsement tracker on Axios. Interesting. Because Trump is kicking ass as far as the people he's endorsed, and with the help of some Democrats putting money into some of his campaign. He's 14-5 of 27 endorsements for the U.S. House. He's 7-0 in the Senate. 9-6 for statewide office endorsements out of 21. Now some of them haven't been done yet. Former President Trump's influence over the GOP faces a new test on Tuesday. Okay, this was, I believe this was yesterday's, which we already know some of the results. As voters weigh in on the consequential primaries in 5 states. Why it matters, a string of losses among candidates endorsed by Trump in May has punctured perception of his dominance over the GOP for the first time in 6 years, raising questions about the competition he could face in the 2024 Republican presidential primary. Okay, so what to watch? Arizona's gubernatorial primary. He backed Carrie Lake. She won. Trump endorsed a number of additional election-denying candidates. Again, let's hear that. Election-denying candidates. That's so... They are showing their ass. Anyway, including the Thiel Foundation President Blake Masters for the Senate, Mark Fincham, an Arizona state lawmaker and conspiracy theorist. Who marched to the Capitol on January 6th for Secretary of State. Both Lake and Fincham have, for weeks in the run-up to the primary, been saying that they'll blame election fraud if they lose Tuesday's primary, Axios' Jeremy Duda reports. Oh, and in Missouri, 3 candidates have emerged as frontrunners in the crowded primary to replace Roy Blunt. All 3 have been vying for Trump support, but he endorsed... I don't know if you saw this, but so Eric Schmidt and Eric Greitens are both running for that seat, and Donald Trump made a big announcement. He was going to endorse somebody the day before the actual primary, and he endorsed Eric, which is actually kind of funny if you ask me. But anyway, Eric won. It was Eric Schmidt who won. Anyway, good morning, GunFox61, the administrator of our Discord server, which you can... Why is that? Okay, this is bugging me. Hang on. There's a problem here, and I'm going to fix it if I can. Let me see if I can get the old... why isn't CloudBot working? Give me a moment, please. It should be giving you information on the side here with the timers, and it's not working. Maybe because it's not on, because I'm a boomer tech god. Okay, let's just get rid of that. We're going to turn this off. Make sure because it's not an open mic day, but we need the bot on. There. Get to working, you bitch. Anyway, all right. Sorry about that, everybody. Let's see. All right. So anyway, that was what we found in Getter. Let's check Parler. Oh, what else is? Wait. What else did news in Getter? Hang on a second. I was gonna do this. So anyway, they say the Supreme Court could strike a blow against affirmative action in a Harvard case ruling. That would be that case where they're discriminating against Asians. Let's see. DeSantis office rejects. Oh, did you see this? Did you? Okay, this was special. Ron DeSantis was invited to go on The View, and he basically told The View to fuck off. The office representing Florida Governor Ron DeSantis provided more than a cursory thanks but no thanks response on Tuesday after the daytime show The View extended an in-studio invitation to the Florida Republican. A DeSantis staffer first penned a scathing rejection letter. The View producers who claimed the show's host would be honored to speak with the Florida governor. After that, the same DeSantis staffers posted the entire letter for all to see. Now, I just want to show you this because this is, wait a minute, I want to show the letter, I want to show the letter. Let's see, because they smelled an ambush. Where is the letter? Oh, here we go. I'm going to put this on here because did we go over this the other day? Hello, Maniac Man. What's happening? We emailed the View emailed our office Friday. Sorry, let's make that so you can see it. Asking for us to arrange an appearance from Governor DeSantis on the show. We would be honored, they wrote. Thoughts? As opposed to thoughts. I don't want an excerpt from the letter. I want the letter. Why did they not just link the tweet? Okay, hang on. Where does the New York Post one go? What the hell is going on here? All right, let's try this again. New York Post. There's that. I want the letter. Okay, that's not a link. Duh. Why are these links not links? Last week, the DeSantis administration filed a complaint against a Miami restaurant for performing drag. Okay, that's whatever. Well, this pissed me off. They're not showing the link. Anyway, the letter was brutal. Going back to them. Well, let's read the New York Post article. They spelled an ambush. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis rejected an invitation to appear on The View, with his press reps blasting the show's host as for being too biased to give him a fair hearing. In a statement posted to Twitter on Tuesday, the Deputy Press Secretary Brian Gifford argued that the show had once characterized DeSantis as, quote, a homicidal sociopath, end quote, might not be one that can hold a nuanced discussion with the governor. As the hosts of The View, are the hosts of The View really interested in hearing Governor DeSantis about all the important work he is doing on behalf of Floridians to protect their health and livelihood, to stand up for parents and children, to defend freedom? He asked in his reply to the show. On Friday, Griffin tweeted that the program said it would be honored to host DeSantis. There it is. That's what I'm looking for. I don't care about this article. I want to read just the actual letter. The letter's basically fairly... Well, it's, this is a catch-22. If he accepted, he would be ambushed, and if he died, he would be used as they will use it as propaganda. DeSantis, no death Santa is afraid of us. Or he can answer for his crimes. He should have accepted. Well, yeah, there's no winning in going on there. Other than, well, actually, I think DeSantis is one of those people who's pretty good about dispensing with lies about him. If you watch his press conferences, like someone on Twitter was telling me, oh, he's afraid to go on there. He could, if he was confident in his views, that, he would go against, he wouldn't be afraid of a hostile interview. It's like every press conference he has is hostile, especially the Miami Herald. So what are you talking about? Anyway, where's the damn... Here's the response. This is what I'm looking for. If my computer will ever decide to start working. Good God. Like I said, I need to rearrange some, reconfigure a few things here. He's staying in Florida, and The View can suck his peanut. Okay. All right. I don't know what's going on here. This thing's going crazy here. Probably because I have 2 or 3 of them going at the same time. Okay, there's that one finally worked. And is this one finally going to work? Good God. Here, I can see it. It's popping up. I can see it. That's what she said. Anyway, how's your Wednesday going? Anyone got big plans this weekend? The reason I'm going to be gone tomorrow and Friday is because we're on vacation. Me and Lady Boom are on vacation. It's her birthday this weekend, by the way. And so we may stream on the way to vacation, but we're going to go hang out the weekend at a friend's cabin and just chill and hopefully go out on the boat if we can get the boat out on the water, because the dock's it's a little shallow right now. Here we go. So anyway, we're going to celebrate Lady Boomer's birthday. So here's their response to The View. Dear whoever this person is, thank you for the invite. I understand that you are sending this request on behalf of your team. But are the hosts of The View really interested in hearing from Governor DeSantis about all of the important work he is doing on behalf of Floridians to protect their health and livelihoods, to stand up for parents and children, and to defend freedom? Dun, 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 dun. Which of the below statements from the host of The View do you recommend our team consider when deciding if the interview will be a genuine pursuit of truth or worth the time? Joy Behar, August 2021. You're just short of calling Governor DeSantis a negligent homicidal sociopath, because that's what he is. She added, what is he doing? He's risking the lives of children, children's parents, and their grandparents, anyone he may come in contact with, so he can appeal to his white supremacist base, so he can continue in his career and get reelected? That doesn't sound like she wants to hear. Sonny Hostin on June 2022. Death Santis. I think he's a fascist and a bigot. Anna Navarro, April 2022, on Governor DeSantis' policies. It's anti-black, it's anti-gay, it's anti-LGBTQ plus community, and for some reason the Republican base responds to it. And it's anti-American. It's what happens in Venezuela. It's happened. It's what's happened in Nicaragua. She always breaks out her Spanish accent when she starts bitching about DeSantis. Sonny Hostin on DeSantis' policies. It started with CRT. Let's remember that. And those are anti-history laws, anti-black history laws, really, she said. If you start coming after black people, what comes next, right? Of course, the LGBTQ plus community, and then women, and then other marginalized groups. So, and they continue, we will pass on this offer. Also, please note, we don't coordinate appearances or events of a political nature from the Oval or the official office. Our role is to serve the people of Florida. Thank you, Brian Griffin, Deputy Press Secretary, Office of the Governor. So anyway, basically he what's the word? Put them hoes in their place. All right, shall we move on? Let's see. This is not very good. This is not going well today. I'm trying to get this computer to work. Holy shit. So I'll leave those open. You can find me on those different platforms if you happen to be on them. Let's go to let's talk about Liz Cheney, because that's really what I wanted to talk about today, and then we'll get into the other hashtag, that's the other trending topic, which is gender ideology. Now this morning, when I'm sorry, one more thing that's trending today is Kansas is trending. Kansas is trending because they had a vote in Kansas. Kansas voters protected the right to get an abortion in their state in Tuesday's referendum. According to projections from the AP, this is CNN, and CBS News, the proposed amendment to the Kansas Constitution would have added language stating that it does not grant the right to an abortion, clearing the path for tighter abortion restrictions or bans. Now, in the Associated Press put an article out here, red state Kansas rejected the measure that would have made it easier to restrict abortion, and voters in Missouri repudiated a scandal-tarred former governor seeking sentencing, because that's for greed. So anyway, they're talking about the takeaways in the various state primaries and ballot initiatives. So Dave Weissman, it's possible the margin for no in red Kansas will be a resounding double digits, a sign of just how unpopular overturning Roe versus Wade is nationally. Now, let's analyze this, because there's a lot of people talking about, Alito should have just left this shit alone. This is anti-democratic. Is it? Isn't this exactly what Alito did, what Alito said was supposed to happen? That the court shall not or cannot write a law, and the people of each state should decide what the law should be in their state. It is fascinating that on this particular ballot initiative, this people of Kansas decided, and fine, they decided for themselves instead of having it mandated from 9 elected judges in unelected judges in Washington. Now, this vote, though, in Kansas doesn't mean they cannot restrict or have restrictions on abortion rights. It was just saying that the state isn't going to make a law making it so that they must make restrictions. There's no other law there. Hello, Mr. Rushface. So there, people are a lot. Here's what some of the people are saying about this. Mostly lefties. Democrats take note. Abortion rights won in Kansas tonight because organizing advocates and pro-choice politicians did the work and centered freedom. There is only upside to being a champion in this fight. Well, they did what they were supposed to do. Let the people decide. Dasha Burns, whoever this is, Kansas Secretary of State on turnout, speaking anecdotally, it could be almost 50% at that point. You're looking at general election numbers. It's looking a lot like 2008 turnout for the Obama presidential race, so it's incredibly high turnout. This is big. Maybe. Doesn't mean they're going to elect Democratic politicians come the fall. A bunch of people, Jon Favreau, who's not to be confused with the guy who directs Marvel movies, but a bunch of people voted in Kansas today, and now abortion access is protected in that state. Don't let people who spend too much time on the internet tell you that voting doesn't matter. Dan Rather. Dorothy, we're not in Kansas anymore. Abortion rights voters. Oh, yes, we are. Oh, that's so witty. So anyway, it's and Elizabeth Warren's excited too. This is huge. Abortion rights were on the ballot for the first time since Roe, and the people of Kansas voted to preserve access. I'm grateful down to my toes for everyone who helped stop this dangerous ballot measure in its tracks. So, and let's see, here's NBC. I'll put an article by NBC News out here as soon as I can. My internet says I can. But a lot of people are chirping about Alito, which I just find it hilarious. This is exactly what Alito said should happen, and that's what it's a state measure, not a Supreme Court measure. So the proposed amendment was the first time anyone in the U.S. that voters cast ballots on abortion since the Supreme Court overturned Roe. It was probably a dumb law, too, is my guess. Kansas voters turned down overwhelmingly struck down a proposed constitutional amendment that would remove language enshrining reproductive rights in their state. Now, this is interesting because apparently they have something in their state constitution that enshrines abortion rights. Does that mean it's funny it's funny how they say enshrines reproductive rights. No. Their reproductive rights, I don't think anyone's trying to restrict your reproductive rights. They're trying to restrict your not reproductive rights. They're trying to preserve abortion rights, not reproductive rights. Your right to reproduce is fully intact whether the abortion laws are there or not. The proposed amendment, let's see. The ballot question, known as the Value Them Both Amendment, asks voters to decide whether the state's constitution should continue to protect abortion rights. Does that mean they can't make laws that restrict certain things in abortion? I don't know. The proposed amendment to the state constitution would have removed language that guarantees reproductive rights. Again, guarantees abortion rights. And ask voters if they prefer to put the issue of abortion into the hands of the state Republican-controlled legislature, an outcome that abortion advocates said was all but certain to result in the elimination or curtailment of those rights. A yes vote on the measure would remove from the state constitution the right to an abortion and hand the issue back to the state legislature. A no vote on the measure would make no changes, keeping abortion rights enshrined in the state constitution. Anti-abortion activists had argued that the Kansas ballot question created an opportunity to put the issue in the hands of the voters via elected state lawmakers. Supporters of abortion rights warned that approval of the ballot measure would almost certainly result in the elimination or curtailment of existing rights in a state that has more lenient laws on the books compared to many of its neighbors. So anyway, this ballot question passed, and that's, it's really, really weird that they are still chirping about Alito, who that's what he said to do. So that's what they did. All right, let's move on. I'm going to go to Liz Cheney first here because this was the funnier thing. So as I got onto the Twitter machine this morning, I saw this post by by Liz Cheney. Here's the tweet. Liz Cheney tweeted out, "Real men put country over party." Now, then she put this picture of Kevin Costner wearing a t-shirt that says, "I'm for Liz Cheney." Now, if you want to talk about something that, I don't know necessarily not racial, because a lot of people like that, because there's a lot of people, Democrats, excited for Liz Cheney doing her job as part of the January 6th committee. But I found it hilarious. Real men put country over party. Real men. With a picture of Kevin Costner, the star of the TV series Yellowstone, which is hilarious because Kevin Costner, and remember, she's in Wyoming. It's a congresswoman from Wyoming. And Kevin Costner lives in Colorado and shoots a movie about a family in Montana. Also, he's an actor. He made the idea that he's a real man comes from the fact that you are watching movies about characters that are not real. But real men put country over party. Now, let's there's a whole lot to analyze here, which I've given you some of my analysis already. There's another problem. Kevin Costner, I'm pretty confident, is a Democrat. So Kevin Costner out here in his cowboy boots, and I'm for Liz Cheney. Now this is just one of those things that's ripe for memes, and I'm not taking everything too seriously because I just think this is hilarious. So let's scroll down through some of the reaction to this tweet by Liz Cheney. Real men put country over party. Let's just scroll down a little bit and see some of the reactions. Oh, they found the one guy in the world who owns a Liz Cheney shirt. Oh, yes, true. The persistence. Now, this is Scott Pressler, a gay man who is a big-time Trump supporter, and also this man is a real man. Okay, this is the dude that was out there when Trump said something about Baltimore needing cleaning up, and how it's a shithole and whatever. And Scott Pressler is the dude who went around and organized people to go clean up different cities, and he's been just a rock of a man doing that. And I don't give a fuck that he's a gay man. I just said he's a gay man because he's more of a real man than Kevin Costner. He said, "I don't think Wyoming men will take kindly to a woman saying they aren't real men if they don't vote for you." Oh, exactly. Wyoming men vote for Harriet Hageman on August 16th. By the way, Liz Cheney is down by 40 points right now in her primary polls, but a lot of Democrats might be crossing over to vote for her. This Kevin Costner that's shaking hands with Fidel Castro. Yeah, sure. Yeah, Kevin Costner's a lefty. Buzz Patterson, "I'm a real man, and I do prioritize country over party. Look at my resume. I think you're a political chess piece for Democrats. You're a sellout and vindictive. I'm not for you." Very good. And then the memes. Oh, cat turd, real man about to defeat you in the primary by 40 points. Here's one of the memes, though. Here's real men that here's some real men that support Liz Cheney. Oh, good God. Anyway, watch Liz Cheney losing in 15 days. Another one, that's the same one. Dick Cheney says, I'm for Liz. Ooh, that's kind of nasty. Heart bleeding there. Breaking, Liz Cheney takes a biannual trip to Wyoming to pretend she's from Wyoming. Oh, boy. Let's see. So anyway, more Kevin Costner shaking hands with Fidel. Anyway, she's kind of getting savage. Oh, here's a good one. Trump 2024. That's a good one. Here's one. Liz is a loser. Oh, man. So anyway, Kevin Costner is, for whatever reason, she thinks a picture of Kevin Costner saying, Liz Cheney, whatever. So so she was trending yesterday, and so here's some of the trending topics. Oh, wait, let's just skip this part. I don't care about this right now. I want to actually, let's see, forget that. I want to get into this article because we've been talking a lot about January 6th lately, right? And there's this article in the Federalist, inside Liz Cheney's coordinated effort to prevent troop deployment before January 6th. Now, I never heard about this. This is interesting. Before Liz Cheney claimed President Donald Trump took no action on the National Guard, she coordinated a campaign to prevent deployment. Uh-oh. Days before the Capitol riot provoked a years-long effort to impeach, prosecute, and politically malign former President Donald Trump, Wyoming Representative Liz Cheney coordinated efforts to deter the very actions she now claims haunt the former president. Cheney has blamed Trump for not ordering the National Guard to defend the Capitol complex, even though multiple sources confirmed that he authorized their deployment days prior to the January 6th rally at the White House and riot at the Capitol. Security officials in charge of the Capitol declined to call up troops to protect it, government records show. Let's see. I'm going to link those. I won't. I'll put them in the links, but I'm not going to go through them. Yet Cheney herself seems to have orchestrated opposition to use of the military to quell election-related unrest, allegedly organizing a Washington Post op-ed on January 3rd, 2021, signed by every living former defense secretary. Because isn't she a former defense secretary? I don't know. Or something like that. Anyway. All 10 living former defense, this is a quote from it, all 10 living former defense secretaries involving the military and election disputes would cross into dangerous territory, the headline read. It went on to threaten any military official who thought any use of the military might be a good idea. Civilian and military officials who direct or carry out such measures would be accountable, including potentially facing criminal penalties for the grave consequences of their actions on our republic, their op-ed warned. So the op-ed was saying that the reason Trump was calling up National Guard people to protect, the area around this rally, they were thinking that they were going to use the National Guard to overthrow the government. That's what they thought, or thought it was bad optics. Hello, Jeff Overturf. Welcome. Cheney compared January 6th to and worse than the British attack of 1814 when a foreign government looted and burned our capital and the White House. Unbelievable. Yeah, it's crazy. It's nonsense. So anyway, the op-ed was allegedly organized by Cheney, whose father was Secretary of Defense under President George H.W. Bush before serving as President George W. Bush's vice president. Eric Edelman, a national security advisor to Dick Cheney, told the New Yorker the Wyoming lawmaker was the one who generated the piece for the Post. This was her idea. Now Representative Cheney has adopted Trump's supposed inaction on the National Guard as a primary line of attack. On Fox News Sunday, Cheney again depicted Trump as an apathetic leader who dismissed pleas to deploy the National Guard while the Capitol was under siege. Quote, there are several witnesses who say they met with President Trump on January 4th, said Brett Baer, and he offered some 20,000 National Guardsmen to protect the Capitol building on January 6th, but the offer was rejected. Is that true? Cheney's answer, His own acting Secretary of Defense says that's not true, highlighting committee testimony from former acting Secretary Christopher Miller, who told the panel that Trump made no order to deploy the National Guard. So the notion that somehow he issued an order is not consistent with the facts, except the president did issue authorization for D.C. leaders to call up the National Guard for preemptive reinforcement before the Capitol riot. While Mayor Muriel Bowser took limited advantage of the extra troops, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's Sergeant-at-Arms rejected or stonewalled the offers 6 times, according to former Capitol Police Stephen Sund. Pelosi's office was reportedly concerned the Guard's deployment was bad optics after having spent the prior summer decrying the use of federal law enforcement to put down left-wing insurrections. I should have said insurrections. When Trump sent reinforcements to secure federal buildings under attack in Portland, Pelosi condemned the extra law enforcement as, quote, stormtroopers. After days of sustained riots wreaked havoc across Washington, D.C., Pelosi called the sight of uniformed troops protecting the Lincoln Memorial stunning and scary. Hello, Aaron Meredith. The campaign to fight any use of troops to restore order during the left's widespread and coordinated summer of rage was so effective that General Mark Milley issued an abject apology for merely appearing in uniform at a site that had been ravaged by leftist arsonists. My presence at that moment and in that environment created a perception of military involved in domestic politics, Milley said about appearing in front of the historic church across from the White House the night before. The left-wing arsonists had targeted the church as part of a riot that besieged the White House, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, Bowser rejected the use of the troops, but she did, Bowser's use of Guard troops on January 6th extended to unarmed troops restricted to traffic control. So she had taken advantage of a few, but she specifically said, nope, you cannot carry weapons. You will be helping us direct traffic. Great. Nice job, Muriel Bowser. Anyway, although Cheney and her colleagues with the Select Committee have sought to indict Trump as responsible for a slow response from the National Guard on January 6th, the panel's own findings have undermined the probe's point. In December, the committee released a trove of private communications from former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, who pledged the National Guard would be ready to maintain order. Quote, Mr. Meadows said in an email to an individual about the events of January 6th and said that the National Guard would be present to protect pro-Trump people and that many more would be available on standby, the committee wrote, as if revealing some grand scandal to help their case. In June, Miller and former Chief of Staff of the Department of Defense Kash Patel went on Sean Hannity's program to dispel committee accusations that the president was indifferent to the National Guard. Quote, Mr. Trump unequivocally authorized up to 20,000 National Guardsmen and women for us to utilize, Patel said. Miller, whom Cheney cited as evidence of Trump's negligence, corroborated Patel's testimony on air. To be clear, Miller said, the president was doing exactly what I expected the commander-in-chief to do, any commander-in-chief to do. He was looking at the broad threats against the United States, and he brought this up on his own. We did not bring it up. So Liz Cheney, with her little op-ed from the former secretaries of defense, which her dad was one of them, and she basically wrote the draft of the op-ed, was also involved in kind of just shooing them away. No, we don't need any National Guard troops up there because, we want this to be chaos. Okay, that's not what she said, but anyway. So I will link the two sources here, newly released Capitol Police. I'm sorry, you can't see that. Newly released Capitol Police timeline exonerates Trump, says Pentagon offered National Guard 4 days prior to January 6th. That's from Law Enforcement Today. And then the other link that they had here is the Department timeline, United States Capitol Police timeline of events for January 6, 2021 attack. Apparently there's something in that. I can't remember what they linked in there. So that is fascinating that she was part of the reason that, and let's say she's a minor part of the reason why they didn't deploy National Guard troops. At least her op-ed was very powerful and moving. And all the 10 generals against Trump, basically. All right, let's move on. the other thing that was trending this morning that I wanted to get to was, okay, I missed that's Kansas. I already did that. Where is it? Oh, gender ideology was trending again today. And one of the articles that I had to get to about this, remember when I kind of made fun of Demi Lovato when she made her huge announcement that she was going to be using they them pronouns. She literally put on Instagram a big announcement that will be officially changing my pronouns to they them. Well, Demi Lovato has decided that she is no longer they them. She is going back to being she her. And here's the BuzzFeed article, because that's the best one. Demi Lovato explained why she's adopted she her pronouns again. For me, it's just about feeling human at your core. I don't think you ever stop being human. Oh, she's wearing a lot of more makeup there. She looks a little... Now, she was looking really weird for a while. She was like really doing up the non-binary, look, which means you kind of cut your hairs at the sides and put some color in that hair that ain't natural. Well, this is her right now, looking back like a female. Anyway, in May of last year, Demi Lovato came out as non-binary. Oh, gosh. That's fantastic. And boy, I don't care. Now, there's a point to this, okay? This is not the only part of it, but this was one of the articles that's in this gender ideology thing. And I want to make a point about this particular case that not everyone's making. In May of last year, she came out as non-binary and said she would be using they, them pronouns. I'm still learning and coming into myself, and I don't claim to be an expert or a spokesman, Demi said in a statement. Sharing this with you now opens up another level of vulnerability for me. But in a recent interview on the Sprout podcast, Demi revealed that she now uses she, her pronouns, and she also explained why she made the update. Demi currently has she, her, they, them in her Instagram bio as well. Oh, so she's still kind of using they, them. I've actually adopted the pronouns of she, her again with me, Demi said, before referring to herself as a fluid person. Okay, whatever. She went on to say that she previously felt her masculine and feminine energy were at balance, especially last year. When I was faced with the choice of walking into a bathroom and it said women and men, I didn't feel like there was a bathroom for me because I didn't necessarily feel like a woman. Man, I feel like a woman. Well, she kind of looks like a woman there. There's a certain aspect of her there that makes her a woman. Anyway, I didn't feel like a man. She continued while talking about why she initially adopted they, them pronouns. I felt like just a human. Oh, well, it's all about feelings. And that's what they, them is about. For me, it's just about like feeling human at your core. She went on to explain that the reason she uses she, her pronouns now is because recently I've been feeling more feminine. And she also pointed out that when it comes to pronouns in general, it's still a learning process for many people. I think what's important is nobody's perfect, she said. Everybody messes up pronouns at some point, and especially when people are learning, it's just all about respect. Now, why do I give a shit about Demi Lovato's pronouns? Facts are, I don't. However, I'm going to give Miss Lovato some credit here. Why do you say? Am I going to give Miss Lovato some credit? Because she made a huge deal of just claiming to the world that she was now non-binary and uses they, them pronouns. And yet now, and wait for it, but now she is detransitioning. And that takes some guts these days to detransition in a sense. You follow me here? Yes, it's all about PR. She, are by making that big announcement, basically she was making herself part of the trans community, even though, you know, she wasn't really transitioning to anything. She was transitioning from something to nothing in a way. But the way the gender ideology works is, at least right now, the modern gender ideology that you'd get from a gender studies professor in a university or a 19-year-old who spends too much time on Tumblr. Being non-binary is also transgender, according to them. So in a sense, her actually going back to she, her pronouns can cause her a lot of problems in the LGBTQ. Well, now, I wouldn't say even the LGBTQ community. In the T part of that community, that absolutely can cause her some problems. And I don't know if she realizes this and if she's going to start taking a lot of flack for it. I would anticipate that she might. But it still takes some bravery to do it, because people who detransition are pariahs in these communities. So I'm going to give her credit to realize, hey, you know, this is probably just some stupid shit. Gender fluid, bukake. Yeah, I always, that whole term, gender fluid, it really is, well, I'll use their terminology. Problematic, because, you know, gender fluid is something that happens at a massage parlor after a beginning. Something that, what's the football player I was just talking about? The guy from Cleveland. Anyway, he probably knows all about gender fluid from his 23 settled lawsuits. Anyway, thank you, Select Boy, for sponsoring the show. You are the first sponsor today. Remember, you can sponsor the show through YouTube Super Chats or at pdognight.live. Thank you for the Super Chat, sir, who says, so Demi Lovato, is that her name? Lovato. Demi Lovato thought she was a man enough to chop down trees and failed. That's why she decided to refer to herself as she, her. Well, you know, that's a possibility. I'm not sure, but thank you for sponsoring the show. So anyway, going back to what happened to the damn tag? Oh, this is it right here. So anyway, gender ideology is trending, and I thought I'd go through some of this tag today. Now remember, Actively Unwoke, this is the, that started yesterday with Gab Clark, Gabs, who was here a couple weeks ago. Her Actively Unwoke event was kicked off last night. Tonight we're kicking off our two-part event to teach parents how to deprogram their kids from gender ideology they learn at school. There is still time to register. It will be recorded, and you will have access to the recordings afterward. So if you're interested in that, you can, in fact, I will, I'll put that in the tabs later. Let's go into a couple articles, though, because that's another article in the... I want to show you this video. We created an AHO event in the streets of Portland. This is Peter Boghossian. Here we are exploring the reasoning behind agreement or disagreement with the claim there are only two genders. We were approached by a group, and here's what's happened. So here, and I'm not going to show you the whole video. It's available on YouTube. I'll link that also. Maybe I can do it with. I wanted to catch it before it plays automatically, though, and because it's a 19-minute video, but. I encourage you to watch it. Come on. There we go. All right. So here's just a clip of the video that Peter Boghossian was talking about, this group that came up and started talking to them about gender.
It was pretty activating and upsetting not knowing the context. We thought it was sort of a statement that was being made, but not a thought exercise necessarily.
Would you like to see how the game is played?
No.
No.
I think we understand
Is it something that should be a game, though?
An exercise? You want to use defund the police as one?
Well, just thinking about what it looks like.
Yeah.
What does it look like
To the
see
whole
like
community.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 white men with a sign that says there's only two genders? You could have been like the Westboro Baptist.
Oh
group,
God,
so.
just
What is
five white men.
Why did you
Hey,
identify
Rachel.
us on the basis of our race?
Well, are you the best people to be hosting that dialogue about?
No, but you.
Be representative of that community.
You're
Sure,
a
but I
white
asked you a
male.
question. Why did you identify me and these people on the basis of their race?
It was pretty activating and upsetting not knowing
So
the
anyway,
context.
that's you can see where this is going. But anyway, I wanted to go through this article in the Washington Examiner, though. Schools should not be further confusing gender-confused children. And by Zachary Faria. Schools, politicians, and bureaucrats are deliberately confusing children about gender and the basics of the English language in the name of tolerance. The Pennsylvania Department of Education's gender, what? Why is it gender twice? Gender/gender identity section. Oh, because it's gender and gender identity section of its equity. When have you heard the word equity? Run. Inclusion and belonging page has a list of words and phrases that educators should know. The department claims that binary gender is the faulty concept that there are only two genders, male and female. Now, this is a quote. Listen, this pisses me off. This is a quote from the Pennsylvania Department of Education, right? And the gender studies people will tell you that male and female are not genders. Those are sex. They're already conflating sex and gender. See how these interchangeable parts can confuse people? If they can't even do it right, how do they expect children to do it right? Starting from its the faulty concept that there are only two genders, male and female. That's not gender, is it? Not according to these people who say gender and sex are different things. Anyway, starting from that anti-science position, the department claims that people who do not identify as the only two genders could be described as, quote, gender queer, and that, quote, gender neutral pronouns, end quote, could include ne, ve, zz, and she. Just a bunch of different letters. Many of these definitions come from an article claiming that children can reject the idea of being male or female. I'll link that article. As young as 3 years old, and that's, quote, some kids know their gender identities and birth sexes don't match as soon as they begin to talk. Okay. I was going to say this is utter nonsense, but that's the next sentence. How do you... They don't even know what things are. They don't even know what language is. They don't know what anything is when they begin to talk. It's so stupid. All of this is utter nonsense. You are not assigned a gender at birth, and gender queer, much like non-binary, is an utterly meaningless term that does not accurately describe anything. Ne and z are not pronouns. They are gibberish used by people who want to be seen as unique and different. Humoring this anti-science nonsense does not help people suffering from gender dysphoria. It only promotes the idea that the entire world should bend at their very whim. That this is being promoted to children is unconscionable. Children do not have the capacity to decide that they are members of the opposite gender or some third made-up gender or no gender at all. Roughly 80% of the children who claim to be transgender grow out of it by the time they are adults. Instructing teachers to encourage children suffering from gender dysphoria to embrace made-up words and anti-science thoughts, which are only being put in their heads by adults in the first place, will only harm them and worsen their condition. Convincing concerned parents that this is the best way to accommodate their children is disgraceful. But this is what liberal politicians and bureaucrats have chosen to do. Further confusing children who are already confused about their gender will help those liberal policymakers feel good, but it will do untold damage to children. What the hell? Why isn't that working? There we go. We will be reaping the consequences of gender ideology for years to come, which is what I've been saying constantly. We're going to have a major mental health crisis in this country because of this craziness. So anyway, why are my tabs all messed up? Oh, here we go. So anyway, I just to finish up, I wanted to go down through some of these just some of the things in this gender ideology trending topic. There's a guy, Billboard Chris, who I hope to have on the show one of these days. He's a Canadian guy who basically walks around with billboards on his person saying that, well, here, hang on a second. Saying that basically against puberty blockers. He's a activist who wears billboard signs that are trying to get rid of people using puberty blockers on kids. He thinks it's dangerous, which it truly is. Anyway, he was Queer Marxism is right. This picture is of a trans activist protesting Jeff Younger speaking against child transition at the University of North Texas. I think gender ideology fits. It's a culture's ideology more than theory. Gender cult works as well. Gender religion, leftist child destruction campaign. So many things fit. I don't mind what people call it as long as they talk about it. Queer Marxism. Someone here, teachers discuss how SEL to bring gender ideology into the classroom and how to recruit activist students, as well as how to limit staff objections that may arrive. SEL, we were talking about social emotional learning, is a Trojan horse for queer theory, CRT, and critical pedagogy. Here's, these are teachers who discuss how to use social emotional learning, which is kind of turning into just a Marxist theory.
Like I mentioned, right. So instead, I'm going to make one SEL lesson just explaining gender sexuality, diversity and inclusion, things like that. So they explain why it's important to be accepting, why we shouldn't be bullying, kind of the importance of why we have transgender bathrooms, why we just kind of what that looks like. And the very end of it is, and if this is something that's interesting to you or you're passionate about being an ally or whatever, this is the club that we have and this is who you contact to get involved.
God, you're in a club?
One whole SEL lesson will just be gender, diversity, inclusion, how you can become involved, things like that.
That's their audio, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, of course. I would also just recommend before you do that one, kind of like what Kim said, you do a training with all of your seminar staff on what they should say, how they should say it, and make sure that it's like a PowerPoint, something pre-written or even pre-recorded, so that you limit the additional feedback of teachers who maybe aren't super supportive. So it's mostly just getting the information. And not as much
so you don't want to have any discussion about it. And it's the other thing, they want to hide it from parents too, which is really kind of creepy. Your taxpayers' money continues to be used to indoctrinate your youth in America, especially on gender ideology here at UTA. That's let's see, today, this is something from UTA, which is the University of Texas at Arlington. Today, the Women and Gender Studies program at UTA officially becomes the Gender, Women, and Sexuality Studies program. This name change signals a significant growth within our program. Stay tuned for our events that we will host throughout the year as we step out with our new name and logo. So, and then remember, this is one of those things that I always say, if you have a major and if you're a college student and your major ends in studies, please start studying menus at as many restaurants as you can, because you will be working at one of them most likely. Let's see, someone here. We are not wrong to rebuke gender ideology and the gender industry. Tens of thousands of parents working to protect children are not wrong. Tens of thousands of people who have been harmed by these practices are not wrong. Social and medical manipulation of young people is wrong. And there's Gabs. I brought my daughter back from this cult. I go into specifics how I accomplished it. We talked about that when she was here. Let's see. Moms for Liberties for dads too. Look at these fine gentlemen showing up Monday night in July. These are our kids, not the government's, and we are going to get gender ideology out of the schools. You know, that's the other part. The educators think the children belong to them. They don't seem to recognize that they're not your kids. They're other people's kids. And sometimes parents are going to reject some of the bullshit that you spout. And it's their right to. Gender ideology is the belief that you can imagine you're something you're not. And if others question it, you can call them phobic. In other words, you can think one way, but others aren't allowed to think their own way because manufactured victimhood. I'll finish up with a couple of these. Let's see. Absolutely loving that people working together to expose gender ideology. That's not the one. Let's see. Oh, here's Demi Lovato, who came out last year, this is CNN saying, Demi Lovato, who came out last year as non-binary, said she's using she pronouns again because she's been feeling more feminine as of late. And someone replied, this is proof that gender ideology is really just repackaged traditional gender roles. A woman doesn't have to be feminine to go by she, her. This trend just doesn't make them feel special anymore. And it really is just, it seems to me it's just an ideology of controlling other people and doing those things that are well, here's let me finish with this. I saw a great quote when we were driving through Wisconsin a couple weekends ago, and I thought it really kind of broke down how academics has become. And it was, how did it go? It was, hang on a second. Somebody, let me find it here real quick because I can't remember it off the top of my head. So this is basically academia, especially in the realm of gender ideology. Absurdity is the ecstasy of intellectualism. It almost seems like the more absurd these so-called academics can be, the more euphoric they get from their cult. And it's really truly becoming a cult or a religion or something. It's just insane. And so that's I guess that's the note I'm gonna leave you on today, since it's time to end the show. Absurdity is the ecstasy of intellectualism. So that's me being profound. Do me a favor, if you haven't done so already, hit the like button, share the stream before, during, after the show, put a comment in the comment section if you're watching on replay, and sponsor the show at pdognight.live. Thanks, Select Boy, sponsor the show today. Appreciate you. And also, if you thanks for everyone who's been in the chat today. Greatly appreciated. Again, there's not going to be a regular show tomorrow. If I can put out a video today, I'll probably put it during this time and do a premiere or whatever. Also, if 22 likes, 38 people, so hit the like button before you go. And I'll be back for a regular show on Monday. And I don't know when the makeup shows for Thursday and Friday will be, but we will do that. And then next week we'll be broadcasting live next Friday from Hotep Nation. Hoping to have, I know right now I'm in talks to have Nick Rekieta come visit the show and do an interview with him about YouTube, about YouTube policies, since we both got caught up in the strike wagon in the last couple of months. Nick, by the way, Nick Rekieta is back. And there'll be several other interviews that I'm working on getting, and I'm going to try to make that a little bit more regular thing. And yes, check out the Discord, the news section of the Discord. I know there's more news in the Discord. I check it every day, Gunfox, now. And in fact, I'll probably do a whole show on that next week. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. I'm here Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, and do all that stuff I talked about before. I will put links in. I'll update the one-tab link where all of these articles and links will be provided on one page. You click the link, and they'll all be listed on one page, so you can check out some of the stuff later. Anyway, it's time for me to go. Thanks for being here. My name is Dawg Knight. I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the Dawg Knight Channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.